Hello, boys and girls. It's me, Cool Yoshi here. Welcome back to my 100% blind playthrough of Hot Wheels Unleashed, or I guess it should be called Hot Wheels Play, because I cannot stop failing on some of these races, man. So, anyways, we tried to complete Hot Wheels Monster Truck events and all the different events that are there. Unfortunately, they turned out to be a little bit harder than we were anticipating, so hopefully you'll forgive me for all that. So, just like before, we'll try to finish the main races first whenever we can, and then try to get... Ices when we can, and then try to go to the other sap after that. As you might have noticed, we kind of cheated because, as it turns out, checks are terrible. I cannot control them well, and I do not like them. So, I've decided to not use Adventure Truck for these reasons, because I'm just here to play the game. So, I guess I should mention sort of the rule change for this. You will not see a true 100% on these DLCs, because there's actually really tough. So, what I'm gonna do instead is win each race once. That's the thing I might still do. And then, for the time trials, we will be doing the Unleashed times off camera, unless we can actually, well, somehow win them on our first try. So you're only going to be seeing one play of each race, so, of course, unless I epically fail, which I have to do event again. I need to make sure I at least complete the event. That is what we need. Like, getting a trophy is all what we're important. Everything else doesn't really matter. So we're on Champions Cup here in Hot Wheels Monster Truck. We tried to finish this before, only to find out they were really tough. So let's try this one and hope that this one's a little bit easier, maybe. We'll go ahead and just finish one race at the very least so we can get an idea of what's going on this time. Try to figure everything out. Well, good start. And we get to just freely go straight. That's a lot easier than trying to turn corners really tight. Somehow, by the miracle we survived and didn't fall off, but then we ended up messing up anyway. Worried I might get forward back a little bit farther. Pretty much every time we go off track in this course, like off like the main normal tracks we're used to, this is my least favorite part of it. That's where it seems to really become a nightmare. But in the base game, it was a lot more manageable and wasn't very interesting. It's more here. In Fat Valley, it just feels like half the time it's like it either doesn't want to or so otherwise it's just too hard. I'm pretty much adding a rule, at least for the main races, that whenever we're on track now, at least in this course set, no boosting. Simply not allowed. We're just gonna crash too much if we do that. I can see myself maybe boosting to get past certain obstacles, but otherwise, no. Once we're off once we're off the main course we're used to, we are going to basically just not do specific paths. We may even have to slow down and say we're quite soon. Survived that time. Nice that sometimes you can survive these, but other times you just can't. I have no clue what. Of course, this is just an error track and we have to learn over time. A little bit of a chance to win. By the way, if anybody is struggling with this game are probably isn't actually the best for most of the races. In fact, because of that, I'm gonna actually bring back an old favorite. I've seen quite a bit of already. I'm gonna use the hands more in these races because I feel like it would be theoretically better, both because control and also a little bit more satisfying to go around the turns. Reset there because I didn't want to stop that there. Alright. We're back on track. Let's boosting again. My rule basically with these effects from now on is basically don't boost unless we have need to for like a win streak or when we're not. Of course, this doesn't really count. This one looks very straight. That's the hardest thing to do strong. In some of the more dangerous parts, the game is really punishes you for boosting. That's one of the things I don't like about this thing. I think a game like this is designed to pretty much handle all the fast speed in the universe. It's really tough. Now I get they want to make it somewhat challenging. It's not how to challenge like make yourself. I guess another part of the problem is like if you compare this to something like more definitive like Forza Horizon 5, you'll know that Forza Horizon has, of course, system that everybody knows about, and that's of course the rewind system. Rewind time. Not to know rewind in this game means it's not chops during some of the tracks occasionally, but it also makes it quite annoying when you mess up because you just use up time. Thank goodness for this automatic respawn system that at the very least allow you to do stuff quickly, and I think Mario Kart is a much better respawn system. It's just usually pretty fast. It picks you up right away. But in this game, only after you miss a checkpoint does it automatically respawn. That means you pretty much have to do every respawn manually. Okay, so we did actually win this race. This was a bit on the easier side this time. Only a couple tough parts here and there, but I think playing the race out like that worked better. So we were able to learn a lot more. So that was probably one of the easier tracks, although I guess most of the turns there were just the classic trap of we have to be ready to stop like in a matter of minutes. I think any game that forces you to use the brakes a lot is a pretty tough game. And I also just realized there's no skipping this. We have to do a linear path here to finish it off. So I think, yeah, these are the last 3 events already. I guess we were closer than expected, but to be fair, I don't know what to expect. Like I said, I would have actually normally got through all this at once, but then this one time trial kind of kicked my butt and I could not figure out what to do. So now we're back to behind the scenes. I think this one is kind of like a medium difficulty track last I remember. I didn't really do it much, but yeah, we'll see. I will say, when the normal times are already pretty difficult, it makes the unleashed times on these feel impossible, and I guess I should mention, these unleashed times in the DLCs are really busted. Unless you want the satisfaction of completing Hereset like me, do not do that. Do not want to waste your time. Just doing each event once for most is plenty, and also you don't really unlock much from the other stuff. In the main game, it was a little bit more interesting. Of course, we got that airport car whenever we, of course, time something like that. Whenever we finished that off, we got a nice food zone. You get that in the DLC stuff. You don't even get any car upgrades. They are already there because you get them as part of the DLC. All you get really is the satisfaction of finishing the race. That's all you get. You do not get anything else. Oh my gosh, this looks really cool to do fast. probably the most annoying part of the game here, trying to get all these enemies to actually. This one is a slow skip, feels like, wow, somehow we only generate a little bit. To be fair, I'm still trying to do the other 6. One thing I forget is how freaking annoying the obstacles are. Every one closes to a stop. There's no in between. It seems like hills cannot be just drifted over, and that's what makes it so annoying. Okay, this one pretty much has fine. Without it, okay, yeah, alright, we've lost too much. Now, that's a restart. Alright, so for no matter what, I'm gonna try to get to that section before I do this. Now, usually I try to do one hot lap and stuff, but when it's already one normal lap, there's not much you can do. Probably end up being a balanced video after all. You have to, and I'll type that. Just keep the time on now. There are already pretty tough. Yeah, each time will probably be in okay, that. Probably enough boosting there. Probably boosting there is probably not a good idea. Delay for that. Here, let's I'm more concerned with respawning. We even have to also respawn in all of these. Show you how to wait a bit. Skip here. Do this like that. Okay, this one we clearly could have skipped to that. Now that was already. Oh my gosh, what is with this? This is such a weird. Yeah, ooh. Just getting to this point. Alone is already. Really, I cannot get up. Let's just keep doing this jump until we not fail. If you're wondering why I boosted here, I simply didn't make it the first time. So I had to. Alright, let's just put the last part of this girl. Don't get 6 seconds. Lost, yeah, failing that. Go like here. Alright, we're gonna have a bit of a better. That part right there is by far the most annoying. That one cannot drift through really at all. Forget what I said. I think this is one of the harder tracks up to this point. Part of the problem is some of the outside parts are so confusing and average. You really have to know what's coming. Hell, this is the right turn. You have to like really slow down and get on. Okay, at least we got a nice fly at the end. Alright, made it to the end, but obviously we were way off because of the failure. So let's try again now that we know where the rest of the track setup is again. Hindsight, maybe if I saw this coming, I could have practiced the race on the day. You can't do time trials at any individual time. Maybe I should start so I could at least get a good time. Although that would kind of defeat the purpose of the life, right? And I think it'd be more interesting to do the long term. probably the toughest part to me. It's kind of tricky to get it to work properly. Anyways, I guess one thing, if anybody is struggling with these time trials, is there seems to be two things that really excellent. Actually, three. The first is, obviously, don't get big fails like this. Like, if you waste time to the point where you have to refresh in these later zones, it's better to just immediately reset and try again. Because then, if you play for the end only to find the missed at the time, especially since these later time trials get more tighter, it's easier to just keep resetting until you get a better attempt at it. Second is, I guess probably the more important thing is, just like those flows, you have to optimize your user. Most important is like, you want to boost after major missions, and also after, so there's like a turn that slows you down, there, you kind of want to use a boost after that. It's also a good idea to maybe use a boost if you run into an obstacle and you have to have from said obstacle. Same also goes to that. Right for a turn, it's very important. And the final part, probably more important of all, is right as you come out of turns. Because typically you have to drift around the turns to really properly. Your car is supposed to be really slow. So like right here, I can steer this, saves a little bit of time. Slowly actually does make a change. Don't make that idiotic mistake this time. And of course, knowing when to not boost, but also when to trick is also really tricky. Like, instead of doing this the way I want to do, I can just basically go like that. And yeah, it didn't work well, but yeah, I was able to cut a good portion of the track. And I did it again basically there. Not the best setup, but it works. I guess boosting after that end part can help. Alright, isn't it? First time actually getting past that part without respawning. Not the fastest, but it wasn't the slowest either. This part we can just go straight on, nice and easy. But anyways, it's these tips that you have to learn and then master on literally every track, while also making sure to spam bot laps on it constantly. Hence why, at first, you'll probably want to finish the full track so that you can get an understanding of where each obstacle is. And then once you actually get out, you'll know, oh, okay, this is how I do this section. Then that's when you typically want to start taking big mistakes. I want to see this here. 90% to go. This time with a lot more time on the block. We'll go ahead and place here. And steer, and it should be good at least for the normal time. Okay, that was close. That gate literally almost cost us there. A little bit trippy at first, but yeah, there we go. We barely got it. If we're barely beating the normal time, we're gonna have a long ways to go before we hit the unleashed time on these tracks. Say, because of the error that teams typically have on this, that probably the most trilliest part of these DLCs is the fact you literally have to do secrets, like skips, in order to get through this. Just realize. Diorama race. Diorama race. Hands. Wait a minute. Director's cut. Wait, that's not on here. There's no race for director's cut. They literally get lights, camera, action a second time. Why did they put this race twice? Yeah, game, that's a little bit annoying. I already struggled trying to get this on the time trial, and you might have noticed just barely, but I did actually get a time trial done, the unleashed time. What you saw pop up at the start, yeah, that was for this track, I believe. We actually did it the unleashed time, but of course we had to use the skips to do it. I'm not going to do the skips in this run, of course, because it's a race and I don't want to lose the race by doing it, but I just thought it would be cool to tell you about it. They are both pretty weird, however. I wouldn't want to waste time doing them in the actual time trials where they matter, instead of doing them in other stuff. Anyways, so we have, basically, as of the setup now, one race to go, well, 2 are time trials, and why they make this twice in a row, I have no idea. It's already enough trying to beat Hassel, trying to beat this with the monster truck. Let alone with normal car afterwards. It turns out the track is really annoying. I don't like it. And of course, if we fall off, it means we have to go right back and respawn right away. Right, there's Cassidy Ruler, there's got one with got steps, so we'll try this again. No, the way it's kind of supposed to be. Well, this car we have control is one of the fastest 10,000 damage from. Alright, made it. That's probably my least favorite part of the track right there. If you don't do that the way I did, more often than not, you'll fly up in a specific spot. Not fun. See, this one does have a slow spin, which I am doing. This is actually easier than going the normal way. Cut the corner a little bit, and it's actually a lot easier to do that than doing it the normal way. Because the normal way is a pretty awkward spot. Doing it the way is much easier. So yeah, now we have a big lead over the AI. And so now we're going to do this. Just here, just to get up to speed. And get ready to pretty much go to stop. Often some of these races, they work a lot better if you come to a complete stop. But I just find that quite awkward that, like, to do these consistently, you really have to come to a complete stop. Yes, that is design, like, they don't want you to turbo everywhere, but I just feel like in the case of Hot Wheels, where it's designed to be spammed with turbos to get through very quickly, it just doesn't feel right having to come to a complete stop. Just to get through one individual section. It makes no sense whatsoever. Like, I have to reset on that section we just missed there, because I happen to do it just exactly not right. It just doesn't make sense. If you have to do that in a game that's Hot Wheels, this is not a great game. That's partly why I'm like, first I thought it was cool in some locations, but I started to say about it. I feel like this game's a little too hard and really needs to have its difficulty. Anyways, thankfully we were able to win thanks to the shortcut. That was pretty easy anyway, though. Of course, if anybody's wondering, yeah, our AI difficulty is still set to easy because screw having to do this on normal and hard. I just want to finish this off. Alright, so this leaves us with 2 events now. Director's Cut and this. Since Director's Cut lasts on the loop, I'm going to actually save that for later. So we'll do Champion's Cut next. This one we had a little bit of an easier time. Hopefully this doesn't take as long. Because this is the one where we finished the race on our first try. No refreshes at all, and seemed to be only 1 respawn. So that was this is probably going to be my favorited track of this part. Convenient that it's Champions Cup too, so it's supposed to be one of the better ones. But then there's Director's Cut. This one is going to be completely different. I'll probably save that one for last because we have to learn the course of course first before we even do that. This one can be off lap, so we might try doing it, but fail. By the way, you're wondering why I'm doing not the bug thing, well, that's because that's actually good. If you're wondering what I'm even talking about, there's this really weird glitch in this game that best works with cards that have 5 or 6 basically, if you purposely come to complete stop in a very particular area, and then boost Sam at a specific point. I'm just gonna reset, so you pretty much have to slow down. That's the dumb part, and slowing down on a fast car is kind of annoying. You literally have to preemptively slow down. The fact that it makes you slow down at all is what makes it so annoying. Anyway, there used to be a bug in this game where if you did a very particular way of a specific start, the game for some reason thought you had gotten all the turbos or something, and it just instantly gives you a full set of boosts. Yeah, you have 6 boosts, it literally makes boosts for absolutely no reason. Don't ask me why that works, but it just does. And yeah, it's a big deal. It really saves you around like minutes of tracks because it lets you really jump to multiple turbos immediately before you can start the race. I think that in itself is a very big deal. Stop over there, because otherwise we would stand. Alright, this is a shorter track. Not take this long to get to. Still, this is the main section. What I don't get is why it sometimes also bugs out. It gives you a little haste and it makes it hard to see where you're going. But we're already close. Finish the lap first. Take it on slowly or break this out. Then we'll do the double two-step instead here, or at least the two-step instead here. Pop back in. Okay, we made that work way better. That is one of the hardest parts of the track. I'm glad we finally got that. I don't know what I said, by the way. Think about what I said. This strat is still pretty good, just not nearly as bad as the other plans. Feels like most of the fine, not like other things where it seems like they just constantly punish one slight weakness. Wait here. Then there's a turn coming here, then we go to the right. I'm surprised we failed on this section. Because in the race we did that perfectly at least twice. Almost beat the unleash time. We're only a second off. Okay, we could probably make that. This is another weird one where you don't have a lot of seconds of leeway. It really, each time and the normal time are only a couple seconds apart. Alright, well, we finished that up. Just one more left to go. Smash. I'm tired of betting, as you can see. If you play the game for this long, it gets really annoying. By the way, just in case anybody gets confused, I may make another video just to show off that I get on 100% whenever I did it, and prove that it is indeed possible, but I won't actually show the strategies on how I do it. Just so you know, though, I don't intend to actually fully cheat. We just are gonna use shortcuts. That's actually the most annoying part. Like, you have to use shortcuts to even get some of these. It's kind of unfair, honestly. The Mario Kart would make more sense that do them, but also they were easier to find. But in this game, they're hard to find, and the fact that you need them to even finish is just so important. It just doesn't stare. And I guess one other thing I ought to mention, but it's also pretty obvious, pretty much number one of these. If there's like a specific pad area nearby, you know. If you have a purple setup, wait until that and just following that. And there's also like a purple and also back to that tip. Our big tip is those moves are really big deal. And then there's obviously the other tips like Koku Stolen Jumps or you'll just go flying off the track every time. Slow during certain sections. Actions when you first play, that is bad. Really cool up Chat, we probably want to see the full first. And then, of course, like just the final set, besides stuff is obvious. You have to drift everywhere and spam pretty much everywhere. Especially trying to optimize the end after landing from tight jumps, which often fun a lot of speed. Or if you have to drift a particular turn, drifting. Right now. No lag. Okay, well that was actually pretty easy. Okay, I'm glad they gave us a pretty free time at the end of this. So you probably wonder what I'm gonna do with the extra times up. Also, I kinda lied, I didn't bring back the car, but that's fine. I'm gonna try and do something different. Anyways, we got this. Well, you've amazed everyone with your outstanding tricks. You became the star of this island. Alright, so we are now done with that. And the final reward at the end of the path is... well, just some more coins and gears. As this is DLC, you already start with all the cars already. So, I guess the other thing I need to show you is, while I was waiting around, yep, I did do all the time tax and all the missions. They have all been beaten. Of course, they all had to be shortcutted, but yeah. If you are a little bit concerned still of where to get those, you can go ahead and look at the other stuff. Anyways, we're going to be going into the Looney Tunes Park next, and this time I do intend to do the full course, like, all at once. Just like I did before, of course, we're going to focus on the main courses first, the ones that are, like, the versus courses or whatever first. Then once we get that done and get through everything, i.e. finishing them all up, we will then do the time trials after that so we can save that awkward till the very end. But also something else I'm going to be doing, and since we got done so early, is first we should probably open our buying boxes. We have 32 of them. Wow, that's a lot. We're going to start dismantling vehicles now instead of selling them, because we don't really need the money anyway, and I'd rather have the gears in case I wanted to upgrade every vehicle. After all, you don't really get many stuff. So, not only can you get normal and rare cars though for this, but you can also get super rare cars-ish. What I mean by rare cars, I mean by like, yeah, this is on, okay. Super treasure hunt cars, which are really hard to find normally. They can be quite hard to locate. Okay, this is a new one. We'll continue instead. And another new one. That one we actually straight on accident, I think, in the last video. We get so many blind boxes, by the way, from just playing the game normally. It feels like we just get kind of handed all this stuff. If you have the ability to go for some of these trickier packs, And these do definitely give you a lot of upgrades for other cars, so if you have the ability to at least beat the main races, you may as well do that. Anyways, we're stacking up upgrade parts because that's how we get most stuff. So yeah, we're gonna basically do this for like a few minutes. Oh wow, we did that so fast. Let's dismantle this. I did show myself using Twin Meal, by the way, for a while, and I will admit the one I did play was pretty decent. Oh, this is Dragon Faster. Let's sell this instead, actually. We might get more money for that. Yeah, about 500 more. But anyways, not only can we get normal stuff, but sometimes we'll get a super treasure hunt item, which means it's like the rarest of the rare. But it's pretty tough. I think you can only really get those by opening blind boxes. There is sometimes, I think, a Super Treasure Hunter event that goes off, but I don't know when it is and when it happens. So probably be easier to just do other stuff. But anyways, yeah, this is the show thing I want to do, and the main thing I want to do for the extra stuff. Now, you might have seen that, yeah, I didn't use the truck, so I kind of cheated with the Bloody Tins box app, but I actually have an idea. I'm actually not going to just use only one car for all the DLCs. I'm actually going to use two. You saw the Bugs Bunny car right there already, but that's actually just one of many. Not really getting as much new ones anymore. Of course, with this game, it seems like it gets much easier once you have a legendary car. Trying to use common cars on these other tracks just don't work half of the time, really. They're just not fast enough. They make certain later jumps kind of are reliant on speed a little bit harder. They're really slow. Yeah. Pretty much gotten all the blind box stuff we want now. I just actually, that's so cool. A little bit sad seeing that one for us, but we also have a duplicate of it. Oh, we got Buns of Steel again. So yeah, you can sometimes get the Buns of Steel and other cards you actually need for some of the secrets in this game from the buying boxes as well, and if you get that, you can just go right into those events, which is nice. But it's kind of random to get them. It's probably better to just pick them up from their spots on the map instead. Anyways, now we just go to limited offers to see if we have any. Okay, here's one. Yeah, the Shark Cruiser. And another one, the Dodge Dioro. We'll go ahead and buy both of those. Trying to get all the cars, though, it's kind of tricky. 24 hours, this is a pretty good car. I could theoretically use that, but I think the other one I've been using has just been way better. Anyways, that was the first setup we're doing for this next event. The second is that, yeah, surprise, surprise, we're actually going to upgrade a second car for this. Not just one, but two. So this is the main car we're going to be using today, which has a good speed. So Star Race is the only thing that's lacking. It should easily get us through the races. Then I did kind of mention I was going to do a second car setup, and I have just the car for it. This one is actually also on the fast car list, and out of the cars, it's probably the best for time trials, and you can see where we're going with this. This one we will use in the time trials, but else we'll use on everything else. Also, we got a super treasure hunt version of this somehow. Anyways, I like how these cars say they're secret too, which means they only are collected from the secret. Alright. Oh yeah, there's also higher cars, yeah, we're not using them. take too long to get. Anyways, the aesthetic one I'm looking at is a little bit far back, and that's this one. When fully upgraded, this car goes pretty fast, last I heard. So let's upgrade this twice. Also, it goes to 5 boost if we upgrade it too, so it's gonna have a lot of boosting power. This thing could actually be better for some of the racehorses, but yeah. Remember that car I mentioned that was somewhat fast, Roadrunner? Well, it turns out it is also a pretty fast car, so we're gonna use that in the time trials, and yeah, it has really good acceleration, handling, and decent speed. Spraying power is the only thing that sucks, but then again, it doesn't really do very well in the channel. I think it kind of matches his character, but yeah, we're gonna be using that on the time trials, and depending on everything else. So yeah, you get to see a couple of different cars. Well, assuming I actually remembered the switch. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video where it will begin, and we will be able to go through the Looney Tunes event, the final DLC event in the game. Since I'm only considering the Hot Wheels City Rumble, just making sure, yeah, Hot Wheels City Rumble are 100%. Once we finish this map, we will officially 100% of the game, since most of the important stuff comes from the base game, which we already did 100% as you saw there, so we got pretty much all the cards we can get from there. So yeah, see you guys in the next video where we take on the Looney Tunes event. Hopefully goes a lot better and easier. It at least looks cooler, so maybe this will look better. Till then, comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.